Jacques for INKISH TV, and we're here at Marc Larvor, as you know, and we're talking about machinery, but not only machinery, also the products that are run on those machines. And of course, we have to talk about inks. And I'm joined here with Marc. Hi, Marc.
Hello.
Good day to you. So thank you for having a little chat with us. First of all, maybe give us a little introduction on yourself, on Siegwerk, your company, and why you're here at Marc Larvor.
So my name is Marc Larvor. I'm working for Siegwerk since 20 years, and I'm responsible of the technology for the narrow web business unit. Mainly the technology is UV flexo, and we are market leader in UV flexo for the narrow web business.
Perfect. So Marc, we were talking a little bit earlier. So how do you see that flexo market and let's say that UV market growth, because everybody's going to look at UV. How do you, from your perspective at Siegwerk, see that market evolving?
So in fact, there was a big growth in UV flexo during the last decades, but now the market is stagnating a little bit for the standard application. However, there is two mega trends. One trend is still the conversion to the low migration system, and the second mega trend is LED. So that's why we are working on both topics, LED and low migration.
Yeah. So just to give us a little perspective in the whole of the market, how percentage-wise, from your point of view, how much of your percentage is going to that UV market?
So UV market, the penetration rate in our web is huge in Europe. Is above 80% of UV, near 90%.
Is there a big difference between, let's say, the American markets and Europe?
Yes, the American market is the share of the water base is much more important than in Europe. In Europe, the UV is the biggest technology.
Yeah, and do you have an idea why that is?
No, I think it's a historical reason, because in fact the main development in the 70s already were coming from Europe for the UV, and then in fact the beauty of UV has been to increase the productivity in Europe in the 90s was tremendous.
Right. So UV, low migration, which is the topic of the day we're talking here. So let's dive a little bit into the technical side, because you're mainly involved in the technical side and the R&D at Siegwerk. So what is the most challenging part of developing an ink for UV applications?
The most challenging part is to make on one side the safest ink as we can, and this is one of the objectives of Siegwerk, to be the safest ink provider. And on the opposite, you need to have the safest ink, but to be able to print it as in industrial conditions. So we don't want to have a Formula One impossible to drive, but to have a superb ink to print without compromise on the product safety. Right. So this is the biggest challenge.
So, and at Siegwerk, because we heard Hamilton a bit before, their testing lab, and you guys, obviously, you have your own departments of research, obviously. So let's say, what would be the next big thing for you guys? What are you working on?
We are working on the next generation of low migration system. You may have heard about the German ink ordinance in the future, and we are already preparing the newest generation to allow to achieve the lowest migration as possible, still at a reasonable cost for the printers.
Exactly. So that brings me to the next question. UV has the name of being expensive. So how can a printer move to UV and still be economically even? So is the cost coming down, or how do you see this?
So first of all, there was a lot of raw material development, so UV has becoming more a commodity product in standard application on one side. On the other side, what you are describing is a bit relative when you compare UV to other systems. But for narrow web, for example, the productivity of UV, when you print, you can glue, cut, apply varnish inline, and embellish the label inline. And the gain in productivity is much higher than the marginal extra cost of the ink. So in fact, for the printer, this is explaining why the penetration of UV is so big in spite of the higher cost of UV.
Exactly. So the overall cost of running the machine end to end should be...
The cost in use is much beneficial for UV for our web application.
So production-wise, efficiencies,
Yep.
they go up
Yes.
while using UV. Maybe one last question to you, Mark. So, as you said, new developments are coming strong. How do you see, let's say, your customers, like you help Mark Andy and other manufacturers out? So how basically do you see the adoption of, let's say, hybrid technologies as well, where a lot of the UV is used? How do you see that adoption of the hybrid and the digitization in the flexo market?
It's booming totally. The hybrid between, for me, hybrid LED and UV is booming because people are preparing themselves to the stop of the mercury lamps.
Yes.
And what was super important during the last couple of years was the rising cost of energy, which make the LED very popular.
Yeah. So the equation is in the favor of LED because it's less energy
sustainable, economical. So it's the way to go, in fact. But the hybrid is a good way to make this transition easier, in fact.
Perfect. Well, thank you for now.
You're welcome.
And hope to see you soon.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Mark.